I have found that one of the most important ingredients to quality car repair, whether you're repairing it yourself or having it repaired, is to use good quality parts. That's why I've been using and recommending Napa parts for many years. They fit, they work, and they last. And they have the Napa name backing that up. Professionals do not like having to do a job over, and that's why so many professional shops use Napa Auto Parts. My guess is that you don't want to do the job over either, and that's why you should use Napa Parts also. So for a Napa Auto Parts store near you, go to NapaOnline.com and search for the store that is most convenient for you. You'll also see a lot of neat specials and some very useful information. So get the good stuff. Get Napa Auto Parts.
This hour of the C Auto Show is brought to you by your local Napa Auto Care centers. To find a shop near you, go to NapaAutoCare.com. Live from the Car Care Studios, it's the C Auto Show with your personal on-air and online automotive service advisors, Aaron Clements and Ryan Mooney. So climb in, buckle up, and enjoy the ride on the C Auto Show.
And hello, car lovers, and welcome to the C Auto Show. And I am Aaron Clements.
I'm John Ryan.
And we are both here to share information on ways that you can make your car, truck, or SUV safer, to make it more dependable, and to make it last longer for less money and less hassle, because that's what we do.
Yep.
And we like doing that. This show is slightly different, or will be slightly different during this hour. It will be filled with frequently asked questions that we've had that we may have gotten by email, phone calls, and just
Facebook,
people coming
YouTube.
in, Facebook, all of these things, people asking questions. And we've made a list of these because we wanted an opportunity to answer a lot of these questions that people have, and just have a complete show filled with answering these questions. So we'll be covering a lot of things during today's show. So buckle up and hold on, and you can still watch this show and previous shows and see the prize winners and all the other things that are there on our Facebook page at C Auto Show, also our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, rather. And also, if you are looking for a good, dependable automotive repair facility almost anywhere in our beautiful country, you can go to NapaAutoCare.com. That's NapaAutoCare.com, and you can pick a shop that's right for you and build a relationship. Or if you're out of town and have a issue, you can do that same thing and call someone. And I've had very good success finding great, sending our customers, if they have a problem somewhere.
Yeah, it works really good.
To that way. Oh, it's worked great. Absolutely. Now, are we ready to fire it up?
Yeah. Did you charge the battery on that one, that Porsche?
I did.
Oh,
I got it all charged. It should fire off.
All right, here, let's see.
Oh no!
You'd have to plug the charger in before you did that.
Oh man, I forgot all about that.
We'll just take my truck.
All right, let's go in now. That one does sound good. Okay, we are ready to. The show is fired up, and we are. Oh, and I did want to mention this. Sherry Moxley will be asking the automotive questions today.
All right.
And we are ready to go to the first question.
Okay, Aaron, I'm going to direct this one to you because I think it was before John Ryan's time. Are today's cars really better than the ones built in the 1950s?
Is that along with his bald spot?
Now that hurts.
I'm sorry.
Abuse. Nothing but abuse. I could get that treatment at home. All right.
John Ryan paid me to do that.
I did.
Now, before I mention this part, I'll say that I love old cars.
Yeah.
An example, a friend of mine's had a car that I just drove around a little bit yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a 59 Bel Air. Completely restored, beautiful driving car.
Really takes you back.
Kind of looking at it, and I said, "This is kind of neat to have all the chrome." Now, of course, I didn't have cars like that. That was even before my time.
Okay.
I just
Good one.
I just enjoy looking at things at cars like that, because they paid a lot of attention to little details.
Yeah.
A lot of chrome, things like that. But the fact is, they were very heavy.
Yeah. Lead sleds.
They were very inefficient, and they would use up a lot of fuel. And
I think it's to be argued that they were really kind of unsafe.
In some ways, yes.
I think
If you were to compare
it to
today's cars,
right?
I would say that you're right.
Well, drum brakes on the front of anything isn't good.
And of course, there's no doubt if with as many cars on the road today, if they were all had the same emissions that those cars had, we probably wouldn't be able to breathe.
That's right.
So a lot of the things that the later model cars have, they're much more efficient, but also they're better for the environment. And we're able to have more cars
for that reason, and
not have the same emission issues. So I would say that the cars in the 50s are definitely fun to look at.
Yeah. And definitely fun to drive.
Yeah, and car shows are wonderful. That's the reason I enjoy going to so many car shows. But as far as being built better, no question, later model cars are built much, much better. They go more. The older cars used to go about 100,000 miles before a lot of stuff started coming up.
Right.
Now cars go 200, 250,
without question,
300, without any problem. All the electronics on them that they do, crank them up, put them in gear, take
instant
off.
Heat, seat warmers, the whole 9 yards.
So later model cars are built much, much better.
Okay, awesome. JR, can you tell us how much extra gas is used when you're using the air conditioning?
Oh, that's a good question. A lot of it, it's kind of a toss-up because so many people think that compressor, when it's turning, of course, it's dragging on the engine a little bit. It's a little bit more load. But, of course, the option is roll down the windows. Mm-hmm. And in most cases, the aerodynamics of the vehicle is really sacrificed with the windows down. The vehicle's designed with the, as far as the aerodynamics is concerned, with the windows up, air to funnel, over, across, and behind the vehicle. When you roll down the windows, it actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's been tests proven that it actually decreases fuel economy.
Oh, yes.
Simply because of the aerodynamics.
If you're driving on the road, especially.
Right. So no doubt, if you had the windows up and the AC off, you would be getting better fuel economy. But I don't think it's enough to ever catch like on longhand as far as if you were to draw your miles per gallon out, because you could simply take off from a red light fast one time and totally blow all that out the window. So I think, and in most cases on newer vehicles, the compressor runs all the time anyway. So it's hard to say if it's going to, add or decrease to the economy. So I would say no. I don't think it really increases
enough
it.
that you can measure.
Right.
You could put the system on Econ and probably keep the compressor off. On the cars that have Econ, like you mentioned, some don't even have it. But I believe it would be so small and offset by rolling the windows down if you were to do that.
Right.
I say run your AC.
Yeah, use it. I mean, you paid for it.
Yeah, enjoy your AC and don't worry about that.
And in talking about fuel, is the 93 octane for race cars only?
That's a good question, too. That require 93. But really and truthfully, if the vehicle does not call for 93, there's no reason to use it. You're not going to see many benefits for it. Now, no doubt the octane level, if it's an older car that, has some wear and tear, of course it would potentially help.
It may have some carbon buildup and it's raising the
right, it'll offset that for you. But as far as a true advantage, I really don't think there's any advantage to it. But now if a vehicle does call for 93, I would urge you to put 93 in it because of the higher combustion in that engine, and of course a lot of the parameters for the fuel injection system is looking for a higher octane, and of course it gets the maximum performance.
And what a lot of people do is their car might call for lower octane fuel, 87 octane, and they might be in a good mood that day, and their car's been doing.
They got a lot of Kroger points.
Man, I'm gonna be good to my car today. I'm gonna give it a treat. I'm gonna give it that high octane fuel.
Right.
All you did was waste money.
That's right.
If the car didn't call for it and it's running normal,
a lot of people think it's a cleaner fuel too, and in most cases 87, 89, and 93 have the same detergents in it.
It's not any cleaner. All it's doing is the ability of the fuel to resist detonation.
That's right.
And it's not anything to do with making the fuel system cleaner, doing anything different. So you're really not giving your engine a treat. You need to give yourself a treat. Take that money, go spend it somewhere else on a good restaurant or do something there.
Car wash.
Yeah, car wash. Yeah, give it a treat like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So before we head to the break, I want to ask a two-part question on the topic that you're talking about. So if there's a gas shortage like we recently had, and 93 is all that's available, it's not going to hurt for people to use that and then go back to
not at all.
The
Very
87.
Good question. Yeah, not at all. And the same thing if 93 wasn't available and your car required 93, it would not harm it to put an 87 97 in there. Now, of course, the next fill up or the next time 93 is available, it would be a good idea to do that. You may, if it's a vehicle that requires 93 octane, you put 87 in it in an event like that. It may have some slight drivability characteristics, but nothing that the average driver would even pick up on.
Okay. And to close us out, JR, on the fuel, people are asking, does it matter where you buy the gas?
Personally, yes, I agree. It does matter. You would not want to buy it, on an old rural highway street that, maybe sells 10 gallons a month. You want to buy it in populated areas. That way there's a lot of turnover on that fuel. That way it's not stale, I guess would be the word for it. The ethanol has not separated from it. Now, I know fuel stations do every precaution they can to keep that inventory, of course, a good product. But I do tend to buy, especially diesel, because diesel's kind of hard to come by in the city. So I always try and buy it near interstates that, obviously big trucks are in there and they really use a lot of that fuel. So.
Okay, time to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
Aaron Clements for Napa Auto Care Center.
Regular maintenance is the key to getting the most out of your vehicle, but you shouldn't have to sacrifice trust and peace of mind when finding a repair center for your automobile. Napa Auto Care Centers are built around a high-quality standard whereby independent repair business owners are invited to join based on integrity, qualifications, and expertise. That's how Napa Auto Care ensures that you get the best-in-class service that you deserve. From routine maintenance to major repairs, you are covered with ASE-certified technicians who use high-quality Napa parts and provide exceptional work that you can feel confident about, knowing it's backed by a 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. With the largest network of independent technicians in the U.S., a Napa Auto Care Center is sure to be near wherever you may be.
Thanks, Aaron. For a list of Napa Auto Care Centers near you, go to NapaAutoCare.com or dial 1-800-LET-NAPA.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda, that's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Thanks for listening to the C Auto Show with Aaron Clements and Ryan Mooney, 2 real live automotive maintenance and repair experts who actually work on all kinds of vehicles every week. So they're always up to date on what's happening in the automotive world. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes, so don't you dare touch that dial.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by AdoptUsKids.org.
I might look like an adult, like a person who could possibly be a parent, but I have no idea how to talk like one. And everyone knows that if you want to be a parent, you have to sound good when you say things like, "Don't make me turn this car around," or "because I said so," or "Don't make me come back there." I don't even really know what those things mean, but I know that I actually believed my parents when they said them to me. How did they manage to sound so convincing? Here we go. "Don't make me come back there." Oh, no, that's not tough enough at all. Kids can sense weakness. "Don't make me come back there." Ooh, yeah, that's better. In fact, that kind of sounded like my dad. Weird.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to listen to you practice your dad voice. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit AdoptUsKids.org for more information. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
If you are looking for a Napa Auto Care Center to service and repair your vehicle, consider Nuttall Tire. Nuttall Tire is located at 2405 Millwood Avenue. Nuttall Tire are your tire experts, and they provide professional automotive services, including all major and minor repairs. Most repairs come with a 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty with the Napa name to back it up. They have been providing automotive service to the Lexington, Dentsville, and surrounding areas for over 30 years. That's over 3 generations of family-owned and operated service. It's their family serving yours. Nuttall's Tire has a nice, comfortable waiting room with free Wi-Fi where you can relax with a cup of their fresh coffee, or they are happy to provide local shuttle service back to your home or office. To request a quote, make an appointment, or to learn more about Nuttall's Tire, give them a call at 803-254-7988 or visit their website at nuttalltire.com.
Let's head back down to the Car Care studio with Aaron Clements and John Ryan Mooney.
My pappy said, son, you're going to drive me to drinking if you don't stop driving that hot rod Lincoln. Have you heard the story of the hot rod?
Welcome back to the CNC Auto Show, and we are in the middle of Power Hour. We are answering questions very rapidly and just covering a lot of ground all at one time. We are ready for the next question.
Okay. Does putting extra air in the tires help a car cope with carrying extra weight? And of course, that would be shopping bags, shoes,
Michael Kors,
not body weight. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, absolutely, it does. Rolling resistance is everything as far as being efficient and fuel economy. To kind of put that in your mind, think about pushing a car with flat tires. It's almost impossible. Yes. And then think about pushing
low tires.
Exactly. Yeah. And then think about pushing a car that has really, really hard tires, like say, like casters or plastic wheels. It moves really, really easy. So yes, the extra weight. Matter of fact, that's why a lot of times a vehicle have two different tire pressures, especially trucks. For heavy loads, use this pressure. For daily driving, use this pressure. So yes, it will actually absolutely increase that.
And it is recommended that if you plan on carrying a heavier load than the vehicle would normally carry, you may want to up that tire pressure just a little bit, because when they're running, when you got that extra weight on there and the pressure is not what it should be, you build up a lot more heat.
Exactly.
You can damage the tire, and also that leads into being sure that you don't exceed the load limit of the tire.
And that's a good tip too, Aaron. The number one thing you want to be absolutely sure is you're not, say if the vehicle it's a 3/4 ton Chevrolet truck and it says 80 PSI. Well, you want to be absolutely sure the tires can accept 80 PSI. Now, under factory conditions, of course it would. Obviously, they match the tires. But sometimes people cut corners. That particular vehicle, just as an instance, would use E-rated tires. Well, if somebody puts a D-rated tire on there, you would not be able to achieve that pressure. So you want to be absolutely sure you always put the right tires, the load range of tires, of course, speed rated on cars. That's, appropriate for the vehicle. Because in most cases, if for instance, if you had a big truck and you decrease the amount that the tires can carry and your truck can carry the weight, you're really kind of in a potentially dangerous situation.
And then also mentioning that speed rating, just because the tires are speed rated for 140 don't mean that you should cruise at 140.
Exactly like Aaron does. Didn't you put Z-rated on the Prius?
I did.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, Bo had a question.
All right, let's go.
So when you're going on that vacation that Aaron's taken,
right,
and you load the family, you got the car topper on fully loaded,
okay,
so you want to pump up the tires, is that right?
Yep.
Yes.
Going to Wally Wally World.
Right. And then when you get there and you unload it, should you take the tire pressure back down, or is it okay to leave it in for a week?
I think for that instance, it would probably be a hassle to decrease it. Really, I don't think you'd have any side effects, I guess you would say, of having increased tire pressure, short of, it may be a little bit more bumpy. It really shouldn't have any issues.
To leave it like it is, and then
until once you get back home, then
go
back
back
to your normal.
or on your next oil change, lower it.
Right.
Because it's not going to make a major difference on there. Just over time, if you left too much in there, you could get a little extra tire where you ride
in the center.
Quite as good.
Right.
And that doesn't matter if you're driving on straight roads or curvy roads. Like this is mountain time. A lot of people are going to be heading to the mountains.
Right. Yeah, as long as you don't want to go past your load. Or
load carrying capabilities.
You should put in there, but no, you would actually be fine. And matter of fact, if you're carrying a fairly heavy load, now I'm not talking about a car topper, that wouldn't add a huge amount.
We're talking like camper or gooseneck or towing something
larger on a vehicle. You do want to make sure that you have your tire pressure set to handle that particular load.
Okay, these next couple of questions is going to revolve around rush hour traffic. What should you do if your engine temperature gauge begins to rise during rush hour traffic?
Jump.
Yeah, jump out. One good thing that's kind of a habit and a lot of people know about is, of course, turn the heat on. It actually, when you use that heater core, it's doing just that. It's exchanging heat out of that engine. Now, no doubt, obviously, you would be hot in that instance, but it's better. you being hot for a few minutes to where you can get that vehicle in a safe situation to where you can shut it off is worth a lot compared to
and do less damage.
Highly pricey engine. So I tend to lean that way. The next thing would be is, of course, if it's high, if the temperature's getting higher and you're going to be in traffic for 10, 15 minutes and you're not moving, just shut the car off. Of course, that would definitely help decrease the temperature. What else, Aaron?
Well, those are the main things. Just above all else, do whatever you can do safely to not let the engine be running while the temperature is
by no means
hot.
get out, pop the hood or anything like that in the middle of traffic. Just try and get to a safe place as soon as
Safety
possible.
first, then save the engine.
That's right.
After that, and the less it runs with the temperature high, the less damage that you will do to the engine.
That's right.
And if you have any doubts, it's a lot cheaper to have a car towed than to replace the engine.
Big time.
So go ahead and if you have to tow it, have it towed.
Okay, well, let's say that you're not necessarily having a gauge
issue
rise.
Okay.
You're just in normal traffic, or you're going to be sitting for an extended period of time, as I was coming through Atlanta yesterday. Should you turn your car off?
I would say no if you're in traffic, just simply because, say traffic clear, idling for a period of time. Say you're at the mall waiting on your husband or wife, to come back or something like that.
3, 4, 5 minutes that you'll be stopped.
Right. I think 3 or 4 or 5 minutes is fine to idle, but anything more than that, there's a lot of heat buildup. The systems get really, really hot when they're idling. Technically, the vehicles are designed to where they can run for an extended period of time. It's just not very good for the vehicle,
in my opinion.
opinion.
It's not fuel efficient either.
Right.
They've done tests and proven that it's cheaper after maybe 3 or 4 minutes just to cut the vehicle off. And then crank it back up. You're using less fuel if you do it that way. And that, of course, is the reason that a lot of vehicles now are start-stop systems. They automatically cut off when you come up to a stop sign and automatically start back up when you give it a little bit of gas.
And too, Aaron, we had this argument actually at the shop just the other day. A lot of people think diesels should idle all day. And they say at idle, they actually are operating off a compression. Well, if that is true, when it runs out of fuel, why does it shut off? It's not true. It does use fuel. So I agree. I would cut it off if it's going to be an extended period of time. So.
Okay, it is time for a real quick break. When we return, we will go to more of those frequently asked questions, and we will be right back after this. Because of my career as an automotive technician, I naturally love good equipment.
Aaron Clements for Camo Manufacturing.
A really good example of good equipment is the floor cleaning machine that I bought from Camo probably 9 or 10 years ago. That thing was used almost every weekday on stained, hard-to-clean auto repair shop floors for all of those years and still worked great. Well, just like any other field, new technology came along in the floor cleaning equipment industry and we wanted it. So we traded our still working 9 or 10-year-old machine in on a brand new floor cleaning machine from Camo. This one does an even better job while using less cleaning solution and less water. So if you're looking for professional, long-lasting cleaning equipment, cleaning supplies that are good for the environment, or any other business supplies, call Camo at 706-724-1488. That's 706-724-1488.
Or visit their website at camo.com.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda, that's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome to the C Auto Show. This hour is brought to you in part by your local Napa Auto Care Centers. For as far back as I can remember, Napa Auto Parts has been known as the parts supplier for the professional automotive repair shops. I remember walking into our local Napa store when I was just 13 years old. It was like a social club for technicians. We would talk to other technicians about new techniques and equipment. We knew we were buying good quality parts, and we would all get advice from the very knowledgeable people standing at the counter. Wow, those were great memories. Well, a lot has changed over the years. We now order most of our parts online, and we very seldom pick our parts up. We place the order, and they magically appear a short period of time later. We have megabytes of information at our fingertips. The name of the game is to get it done correctly but fast. But some things have stayed the same. Napa still caters to the professional shops, and they still sell good, high-quality parts. Some good things just get better. To find a Napa Auto Care Center near you, go to NapaAutoCare.com.
You're listening to the CNC Auto Show with Aaron Clements and John Ryan Mooney, two ASC certified master technicians who really appreciate you taking your time to join us today. We'll be right back with more from Aaron and John Ryan in just a couple of minutes. So stay right where you are for more great car care advice on the CNC Auto Show.
This entire piece of music is played with only two instruments, a right hand and a left hand. Hands can do incredible things, but nothing compares to using them to help save a life with hands-only CPR. If an adult suddenly collapses, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of their chest until help arrives. Hands-only CPR is recommended by the American Heart Association, and it's incredibly easy and effective. Find out more about this latest method of CPR at handsonlycpr.org. The power to help save a life is in your hands. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
If you are a good professional automotive repair facility, consider Wetzel's Automotive. Wetzel's Automotive is a Napa Auto Care Center located at 2017 Augusta Road in West Columbia. As a Napa Auto Care Center, they follow a strict code of ethics so customers know up front what to expect. They have ASC certified technicians and a 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty on most repairs, and they have the Napa name to back it up. The Wetzel's Automotive team are true professionals with training and equipment to perform all major and minor repairs, including the more complex issues. And if you plan to keep your car for many years, Wetzel's is the place to go. They will keep you informed of preventative maintenance services that will keep your vehicle safe and dependable for many years to come. So if you are looking for a good repair facility to service your vehicle, call Wetzel's Automotive. The number to call is 803-739-2999.
It's time for more good stuff with Aaron Clements and John Ryan Mooney.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
And welcome back to the CNC Auto Show, and we are in the Power Hour answering automotive questions, and we are ready to go straight to the next question.
Okay, how long should you warm up an engine before winter driving?
Well, I'll tell you what, John Ryan, I'll mention gas and you mention diesel.
Okay, that's
Is that
good.
fair enough?
I was going to say, is that how long you should or how long do people? All right, go ahead.
Well,
Aaron.
actually, later model cars, if you get in the vehicle and by the time you start the vehicle, buckle your seatbelt, adjust your mirrors, adjust your AC, the few little odds and ends you're going to do it, which takes less than a minute, or don't take very long at all to do, you're ready to put it in gear. And take off. Because you look at cars like the Prius and a lot of start-stop systems that you have, you're able to go in and they may be running off electrical when you're very first moving, and then all of a sudden crank up while the vehicle's already moving. Because I see that every morning when I get in the Prius. I put it in gear and I back out of my driveway with electric power, and then as I start giving it the gas, it kicks in and goes. And of course, it hadn't warmed up any. All it's doing is taking off and going.
Exactly.
So very short for a gas engine. Now, on a diesel, what do you think?
Well, number one, I do agree with the gasoline scenario you just mentioned, but for me, it's just a mental thing. I'm thinking about where that oil is at that time. So I do tend to, if you have the time, I say let it idle for a minute. That may be exaggerating a little bit.
I do that with almost every diesel that I get.
Yeah. So diesels, most glow plugs on today's vehicles, with the exception of some of the older diesels, they're very, very, you get in, you turn the key on. Normally the wait to start light or the glow plug light goes out, crank it up. By the time you of course, put your seatbelt on, adjust the temperature, kind of get situated, it is technically safe to run. I mean, it's definitely warmed up. One thing that really makes that scenario possible is if you're using your block heater. Of course, obviously this is in severe cold temperatures, but it really makes a huge difference. Even in our town, obviously we don't get very cold here, but my block heater makes a big difference. You can hear the RPM spin faster. You can hear the engine, as far as fuel knock and everything, not loud. So I still like to let it idle for a minute before I leave. But really and truthfully, you can get in and go.
And cars below like 2010, I let them warm up a little bit longer than the later model also. So a little bit depends on what year model that you have.
But the reality of it is people just get in and go anyways.
That's true. So everything we said was pointless.
Right.
Okay.
More preference.
Aaron, some of our other markets, the listeners they're in much colder climates. Even if their car's parked in a garage, they may still want to warm it up. So we want to be safe about that.
Well, yes, and many times in the winter months, people will either have a remote start where they can go ahead and crank their vehicle, let it be warming up for them, or they may walk outside and hit it. If the car is parked outside, many times they may want to defrost, let it run to defrost the windshield.
Right.
And then many times they may walk outside and the car be gone.
But Sherry brought up a good tip, though. Like she mentioned, if it's in the garage and say you're in Canada or something like that, you definitely want to open the garage before you crank it up. Obviously for carbon monoxide. Same thing with your remote start, like you mentioned. Say you're in your kitchen, you remote start it, and next thing you know, you forgot, and it's been running for 20 minutes. That can be a
and that gives
danger.
me something that I do want to say. I'm the safety officer of the show.
Yeah, because you're the most reckless, dangerous person.
With a vehicle with a memory key, it is very, very important that you make sure you cut the vehicle off. There has been cases where people will pull in, and they will. Yes, I've done this with our car. I went to the beach one time, and the car was sitting out there, and I come back about 30 minutes later to get something else, and I had left the vehicle running because the vehicles, you have to remember to push the button to turn it off every time.
Well, you would develop a habit of not necessarily having to switch the key off and pull the key out. It's just a button, so it's very.
I can't believe
it's kind of like walking out of your bedroom and forgetting to turn your light switch off.
I can't believe you pulled that out of me about what I did leaving the car running at the beach.
Oh, they saw it, man. They saw it on the news.
But it's easy to do. Now, that was at the beach. That was in a parking lot. But it can happen with a vehicle parked in someone's garage door closed. That causes carbon monoxide major issues. So be sure you cut these cars off when you pull them into the garage, and make double sure everything's turned off. Okay,
let's talk about anti-lock brakes in an emergency. How should you use them?
Okay, good question. Anti-lock brakes, a lot of people have never experienced the anti-lock stop. So when the event of an ABS stop comes up, people kind of think there's something wrong with their brakes. Hey, my pedal went to the floor. It's making a buzzing noise in the pedal. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was.
So it can startle some people. Sometimes it's kind of a good idea to become familiar with your vehicle. For instance, you buy a new vehicle today. Once you get kind of the idea where everything is, it's a good idea to take it to a gravel parking lot, not very fast, say 10 miles an hour, and really hit the brakes, abruptly. And a lot of times you'll experience that ABS stop so that you're aware of what it will do, in the unfortunate event that you need to use them.
Yeah.
So So I guess back to the question as far as how to use them. Really, you just use them like everyday brakes. Definitely you don't have to lift off the pedal like you used to. The car's computer actually lifts the pedal pressure and it releases the pressure to the wheels to prevent that tire from locking up. Because a tire that locks up on pavement will actually gain speed versus a tire that has traction and again, now it's hydraulically relieving the pressure at that wheel, but that's to regain traction. And this is a cool thing that we did here at our car show. Every year that we did our 2 shop vans, which are identical Dodge Caravans. We wet the road. We did one without ABS and we did one with ABS, and the one with I don't remember the exact feet, but it was significantly difference with ABS versus non. So ABS is a good system.
Control. And what the anti-brakes are doing is exactly what experienced drivers
did in the past,
used to icy roads have always done.
Well, race car drivers too.
Race car drivers, they would hit the brakes. If they feel a wheel starting to lock up, they'd release the brake. As soon as they gain control, they'd hit it again. The only difference is the anti-lock brake system can apply and release that brake 18 times a second.
Yeah, probably 18 times more than you can in 1 second.
Exactly. and able to keep control. So you just keep constant pressure on the brakes and let the anti-lock brake system doing its job instead of the temptation of letting off and applying, let off and applying. Just
because
keep your pressure.
That scenario will actually make the stop be longer also if you did that with an ABS car. So.
Okay, we're ready for the next question.
Okay, how do you clean dirty battery terminals?
Oh, man, I've heard every kind of way, Coca-Cola, all kinds of stuff. But for me, the best thing is just to go get the proper cleaner at Napa.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do.
We use that Napa cleaner also.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
You get the cleaner and then the sealer.
Right.
Take your negative cable off first, then your positive cable.
Right.
And then spray it down. Anywhere you see corrosion on the posts, on the cables, and the tray, spray it down. Let it sit.
Good idea to use rubber gloves or any kind of gloves that you have.
And some eye protection.
Eye protection also.
That's a great thing.
Of course, Napa also has those really cool brushes that you simply put on the terminal, twist a few times as a male end, female end, clean the terminals real good. Biggest thing with that is obviously your safety yourself is important, the most important, but try not to get that corrosion on wiring, paint, plastics, and stuff like that. So it's a good idea to spray that cleaner on there, let it sit a little while because it'll actually kind of simmer, then clean them. So
yeah, and wash it off real good when you get done.
That's right,
and that'll work out good.
Okay, let's hit this question before we go to the break. Will putting radial tires on an older car that came with bias ply tires hurt its suspension?
Oh, that's a good question. Aaron, you're more that age.
Well, that really hurts.
That was
I don't even remember bias tires hardly.
Yeah, sure.
But really on bias tires, if you want to keep a car original, you may want to say, well, I'm going to get some bias tires so I have that original
They
look.
actually have radial tires that say bias on the side of them for antique cars.
Wow.
They sure do, yep.
But that answers the question right there.
Yeah.
It's really better to have radial tires even on a car that came with the old bias tires.
Right.
It's much easier on the suspension components, drives better, handles better, just all the way around better.
Yeah, significant changes, yeah.
Doing what John Ryan mentioned there, I didn't know they did that.
They do, yeah.
But even if you want to keep it original, buying the radials with the bias road on it, you're way ahead.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. And finally, Aaron, just answer how do you know how much air to put in the tires?
Well, that's on a lot of cars that's found on the door panel. Now, on the older model vehicles, you would have to do a little research. I recommend going to doing a Google search to find out what most of those are.
There's several tire
most
websites.
Older model vehicles is going to be somewhere around 32 PSI as a general rule. Some may go 35. But if you want to get more specific than that, I would do a Google search.
That's right. All right, we're all out of time here.
Okay, we are. It's time for another break. We'll be right back after these messages.
Aaron Clements for Napa Auto Care Center.
Regular maintenance is the key to getting the most out of your vehicle, but you shouldn't have to sacrifice trust and peace of mind when finding a repair center for your automobile. Napa Auto Care Centers are built around a high-quality standard whereby independent repair business owners are invited to join based on integrity, qualifications, and expertise. That's how Napa Auto Care ensures that you get the best-in-class service that you deserve. From routine maintenance to major repairs, you are covered with ASC-certified technicians who use high-quality Napa parts and provide exceptional work that you can feel confident about, knowing it's backed by a 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty. With the largest network of independent technicians in the U.S., a Napa Auto Care Center is sure to be near wherever you may be.
Thanks, Aaron. For a list of Napa Auto Care Centers near you, go to NapaAutoCare.com or dial 1-800-LET-NAPA.
Confessions of a Potentially Perfect Parent, brought to you by AdoptUsKids.org.
I might look like an adult, like a person who could possibly be a parent, but I have no idea how to talk like one. And everyone knows that if you want to be a parent, you have to sound good when you say things like, "Don't make me turn this car around," or "because I said so," or "don't make me come back there." I don't even really know what those things mean, but I know that I actually believed my parents when they said them to me. How did they manage to sound so convincing? Here we go. "Don't make me come back there." Oh, no, that's not tough enough at all. Kids can sense weakness. "Don't make me come back there." Ooh, yeah, that's better. In fact, that kind of sounded like my dad. Weird.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to listen to you practice your dad voice. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit AdoptUsKids.org for more information. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for sharing your morning with us right here on the CNC Auto Show, hosted by Aaron Clements and Ryan Mooney, two ASC certified master technicians who believe in helping you make your car run better and last longer while saving you money and having fun, all at the same time. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Aaron, I know you get a kick out of letting our listeners know where they can find a great Napa Auto Care Center, so tell us about one here in the Midlands.
Here's what I know everyone will like, JR. It's 3-Man Auto Service. They are located at 1215 Rosewood Drive in Columbia. 3-Man Auto Service has the right equipment and training to perform all major and minor repairs on your car, truck, van, or SUV. That includes everything from a basic oil change and lube on up to a computer system diagnostic test. And if you have a diesel engine that is in need of repairs or maintenance, 3-Man Auto Service is the place to go. As a Napa Auto Care Center, they feature ASC certified automotive technicians and offer a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty on most repairs. That's 3-Man Auto Service, 1215 Rosewood Drive in Columbia. The number to call is 803-748-0932 and tell them Aaron sent you.
That's 803-748-0932.
Welcome back to more of the CNC Auto Show with Aaron Clements and Ryan Mooney.
Back with you on the CNC Auto Show, and we are covering frequently asked questions.
We were until you started dancing.
Well, I was just ready. Okay, we're ready for the next question.
Okay, well, this one I really love because nobody wants to overpay for anything.
Right.
So how do you protect yourself from being overcharged for car repairs?
Oh, that's kind of a loaded question. I think for me, in my personal instance, would be just that relationship you have with the person. I think it's very important to obviously trust them. Yeah. If you trust them, you kind of leave it in their hands, and typically,
and to keep that relationship, you want to do certain things, because if you have a misunderstanding or miscommunication, it can ruin a great relationship you have with somebody that you enjoy going to.
Right.
So you want to always ask, you want them to always call you and let you know what something will cost.
Don't ever let them
done.
spend your money. Yeah,
don't ever walk in and say, well, the water pump's leaking. Yeah, go ahead and do it.
Just fix it.
You
That
might
famous
have
last
in your
words.
mind a water pump costing $150, and water pumps can cost $500, $600, $800
more than
or
that.
more.
Timing belt one.
And that may give you a bad feeling with that person when you go back. So when you have stuff done, regardless of whether you trust them or don't trust them,
right,
go ahead and ask for an estimate before the work is done. If you're having diagnostic work done, ask what the diagnostics would cost. Make sure that you give that shop all the information of how to get in touch with you. Let them know if you're hard to get in touch with, if they need to leave a message.
Yeah, text works better, email works better, whatever works good
but
for
don't
you.
give them a reason or have to make a rush decision on their own.
Right.
And you don't want to have to make a rush decision either. So go ahead and take things in, have them checked, ask them to call you when you do. When the job is being done, when they give you an estimate, you want to find out if you're using new parts, used parts, remanufactured parts. You want to find out what the warranty will be on the item that you're having repaired.
On the repair, yeah.
And then once the car is completed, you want to go, if there's questions on the ticket, sit down and ask them those questions.
Yeah.
Because what happens a lot of times, people will get home and something just is they didn't feel right about something. When if they would have just asked the question, the person could have told them exactly what it was real quickly, and they would have felt really good about everything.
Right.
So ask questions.
So
communicate.
2 things: trust and communication.
Yes, I think that's perfect.
Yeah,
I
you just like
that.
talk.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay, and we talked about this during the break a little bit. Are extended service plans a good deal?
I have mixed feelings against those. I think if it's something that you can get for a really good deal, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's in some cases beneficial if it's a very cheap plan. However, on this side of the table, we've experienced where they don't necessarily pay for everything. A lot of companies don't pay for the diagnostics, and a lot of companies find reasons, not necessarily to get out of it, but reasons to not cover it.
Well, which is fine. If something's not covered, it's not covered. But so many times the person selling the warranty will make it sound as though anything that's ever done on this car for the next 3 years or whatever the length of the warranty is will be covered, and you won't have to worry about anything. So you've arranged your finances around that, not having any repairs
come up. Yeah.
Well, a little something comes up, you take the car to a repair shop, and the person says, well, your warranty company don't pay for diagnostics. You will need to pay for that first, and if it turns out to be a covered repair, then you'll be okay. So you give them to go ahead and run the diagnostics, and it costs you a certain amount of money there, and then you find out that it's one of the items that is not covered, and then you have more money spent there.
I want to interrupt you real quick. The part I have a problem with is who looks bad in that situation.
Yeah,
I do.
The shop person has to.
Right.
And then also you find out that the maintenance is not covered either. If you have something like a belt or brake pads worn or oil changes.
Well, unfortunately, an example is I was told a U-joint was a maintenance item, and I firmly disagree with that. That's part of the drivetrain.
Right.
You know, that's not a maintenance item at all.
Yeah, and I've had cases where I really feel like something should be covered, but it was not covered. So as long as you know what you're getting, if you're thinking about getting one, definitely do a lot of research on the company first. Get a good
reviews. I think would be a good one too
on the company, and a good name brand company.
Right.
If you do plan to go in, I do see some people come out good on them.
Right.
But as a general rule, it's something that you want to research very carefully.
Do some research on it.
Okay. I want to expand on that a little bit. So, JR, you were saying that some cars are really good, that they typically don't have these kind of issues. So how would somebody find that information out?
Well, I think, of course, the service that a lot of shops provide is a pre-purchase inspection. Technicians almost are in a world of their own. They know vehicles and the common problems and what comes up with them. So, if you were buying a vehicle, like for instance, a Chevy Equinox or something like that, you may know it has this problem, this problem, this problem. So you could say specifically to that warranty company, if they were going to provide you a warranty, hey, do you cover this? Do you cover this? And then that way if those items will be covered. But I think the communication between the technician that obviously knows a lot about the cars and then you mentioning what car you're going to think about purchasing would help out in the event of if you were going to purchase an extended warranty or not.
Mm-hmm. And would you say that there's some shops that do not deal with warranty, would not be able to assist you with?
I would say, I'm not sure of this, but I would venture to say there's quite a few of them that probably don't. Just simply, it is a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of paper trail, paper hassle. You're on the phone 2-3 times for something very, very simple. It's a service obviously we provide just simply because there are quite a few of them out there. But yes, I would say there's few that do
and we don't want to lump them all in the same baskets because
there's some that are great, that are flawless,
very, very
absolutely,
good.
yeah.
But some are not so great.
Right, yeah.
Okay, let's see if we can get a couple more questions in. Is it true that cars with 50,000 or more miles have timing chain problems?
Whoa.
Wow, that's a good one. It really depends on how those first 50,000 miles were spent. If that vehicle is not maintained, if it's never had an oil change, yes, absolutely, it's going to have a timing chain problem. Mainly because that chain, just like your bicycle when you were a kid, is going 100 miles an hour. So if it's not properly lubricated and the preventative maintenance, yes, it will fail. Some vehicles actually have issues with timing chains on past 50,000. Less and less. Typically, they're one of two things. Again, it goes back to the maintenance and sometimes what the chain guides are made out of. Of course, a lot of chain guides are actually plastic. They have not necessarily set intervals, but they do have a lifespan, obviously, just like any mechanical part.
Even in the 90s, it wasn't unusual for timing chains to be worn out at 100,000 miles.
Yeah, you'd have to adjust the timing to help
now,
with that.
I would say most vehicles out there, timing chains will last the length of the engine. If that's 200, 250, 300, on most of them, they will go that length of time. But if that vehicle has a timing chain, that makes the oil changes even more critical to use the correct weight of oil, type of oil, API rating.
Right. I don't know why I picked that Equinox, but just like that one, it requires dextrose. They have timing chain issues. So I guess that may be why I picked it. But that's a great point because if you do not follow, that's why it's a manual. It instructs you of how to maintain that vehicle. So follow it.
Exactly.
Big investment.
Yeah, very critical.
Okay. And Aaron, in our last minute that we have here, talk about the ASE certified technicians. Just give us a little how important that is.
Well, ASE stands for Automotive Service Excellence.
That's right.
That you have, and it's a certification system, and it's more of a voluntary system for automotive repair technicians to go to across the country. It's evolved. I remember when we first started going to classes, we would see like large number of technicians would walk in and we would do paper tests.
Yeah.
Now the tests are done electronically. You go in and you sit down and you go through a list of tests. You're certified in different areas. You might be brakes, transmissions, electrical,
or parts or service.
And it does not it don't necessarily mean beyond question that person is completely proficient in that area, but I will tell you that what I found over the years that technicians that take the time to study, take the test, get certified, they're serious about being an automotive technician, and the same goes for the shops that become Blue Seal Excellent,
right?
Which is a category that the shop can be in.
Something to be proud of, too.
Okay, we're about out of time. The clock is on E. We need to pull over for now, but we'll be back on the road in no time. I'm Aaron Clements with co-host Ryan Mooney. Our show producers are Sherry Moxley, who asked questions today, Zach Llewellyn, Bert Dean, Bo Roberts, Alan Dean, and Sandy Klein. And we would all like to say thank you to all of you that tuned in and logged into the CNC Auto Show, and we will see you next time.
One in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I have found that one of the most important ingredients to quality car repair, whether you're repairing it yourself or having it repaired, is to use good quality parts. That's why I've been using and recommending Napa parts for many years. They fit, they work, and they last. And they have the Napa name backing that up. Professionals do not like having to do a job over, and that's why so many professional shops use Napa Auto Parts. My guess is that you don't want to do the job over either, and that's why you should use Napa Parts also. So for a Napa Auto Parts store near you, go to NapaOnline.com and search for the store that is most convenient for you. You'll also see a lot of neat specials and some very useful information. So get the good stuff. Get Napa Auto Parts.